on?
They did actually.
Oh, well.
Saw it. The ticket.
Oh, was it yesterday?
Good morning. It's Tuesday, June 18th, 9:30 a.m. If you'd all please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll start with a prayer, please. Heavenly Father, we beseech you divine guidance in this meeting. Keep us ever mindful of our obligation. Grant us, dear Lord, wisdom, tolerance, and courage that we may well serve our county and fulfill our trust. Amen. All right, and we got minutes?
Move to approve the minutes of the June 11th Commissioners meeting.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion or changes? Roll call, please.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes. Any public comment regarding pending resolutions? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and proceed. Highway Department.
Wasn't sure you were going to pick us first.
Oh, yeah, sure, why not?
Good morning. I have one resolution for your consideration today, and that's determining that some equipment we have is used by the Medina County Engineer is in excess and authorizing its disposal.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
Thank you. Have a good week.
All right, thank you. Sanitary Engineer, Jeremy Sinko.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
4 resolutions for your consideration today. The first is declaring the necessity and authorizing the sanitary engineer to announce the availability of a construction manager at risk service to plan, coordinate, manage, direct, and construct all phases of the Chippewa wastewater treatment plant project. The second is authorizing change order number 1 for the Liverpool wastewater treatment plant concrete replacement project. The third is authorizing the sanitary engineer to enter an agreement with Answer Advisory for construction inspection services for the Boston Road Pump Station replacement project. And the fourth is amending a previous resolution establishing the septage disposal fees for the Liverpool wastewater treatment plant. And that was to push back the step increase to October 1st and January 1st of 2025.
Move to approve the 4 resolutions.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Holly Murin, our Human Resources Director.
Good morning.
Good
On our
morning.
personal changes resolution today, we have 1 new hire in sanitary, 1 promotion at county home, 8 rate increases, 1 in maintenance, 4 in sanitary, 1 at job and family services, 1 in building, and 1 in human resources, 1 transfer between agencies from maintenance, 3 leave of absence, 1 in maintenance, 1 at job and family services, and 1 in sanitary, and 1 resignation in maintenance.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Very good. Thanks. Brett Thomas, Finance Director. Good morning.
Good morning. This will be my shortest one of the year, I'll bet you. I have a whopping 2 resolutions for you. The first one is expenses of county officials, nothing out of state this time. And our second and final resolution is our weekly bills in the amount of $2,126,094.28.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
All right, guys,
Very good.
speed racer out of here.
That's right. Very excellent. Our Assistant County Administrator, Matt Springer. Good
We
morning.
have 3 resolutions for your consideration. The first one is authorizing the bid process for the purchase and installation of new windows at the county home. The second one is a change order number 2 agreement with D2 Excavating. This is part of the 2022 critical infrastructure project for the village of Lodi. And then the third and final is authorizing the bid process for the restroom renovation project here at the county administration building.
Move to approve 3 resolutions.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion?
Looking forward to the remodel.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Much needed. Roll call, please.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Now we have updates. John Burke, our County Treasurer, has an update for us.
Just want to announce that we had our tax bills go out last week. Due date is July 12th, And we billed, let's see, this time, about $213 million. You can pay it, of course, in person at the office. We're open from 8 to 4:30 every day, Monday through Friday. The last day, the due date, will be open till 6 p.m. You can also send it in by mail. One thing we did differently this year is we sent out the tax bills with a QR code on it. And so that makes it really easy. If you want to pay it online, you take your iPhone and you scan that, and you immediately go to Medina County Tax. You don't have to put anything in the computer. You just go right there. It's going to take you to our first page, which is an acceptance of terms and conditions. You just hit accept, and then you're right at the search page where you can enter your parcel number or your address or name, and you can get your tax bill. You can look up your receipts or payments up to date, and you can pay online. Now, if you pay online, it's a $1.50 vendor fee charge for an electronic check. Of course, we take credit cards, debit cards, PayPal, but there's a fee on that. It's 2.5%. So we don't encourage people to do that because of the fee, but that'll come up and it'll show you what that fee is. And of course, the county doesn't get any of that fee. That goes right to the banks, basically. So you can pay online. In fact, this QR code, I know only of 2 other counties out of 88 that have a QR code on their tax bill. So we're trying to be efficient and offer another service, and that's new for this time. Of course, we have drop deposit box locations outside our office right here. The other ones are at the Lodi Library, the City Hall in Medina, and also the City Hall in Wadsworth. And you can drop them off there in the drop box. If you have any questions, call our office. And if you didn't get a tax bill, look online or call our office at 330-725-9748.
All right.
Thank you.
Very good. Thanks. All right. Thank you. Next, Richard Nelson, our Chief Building Official.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Our monthly report for the month of May. Both the commercial and residential construction value are up 12 and 17% respectively. The big change, though, is the value of new homes in May, showing a huge increase compared to last May. It jumped up to 445,000 for the new homes in May. It's crazy. So it brings the year-to-date average up to 417,000. It's quite a jump compared to last May again. 46 home starts, pretty much the same as last May, and pretty much average for May. Going to page 2, our May receipts are still down 1.5% compared to last May. And on page 3, our year-to-date receipts are 6% down compared to year-to-date last year. Page 4, the permits issued by townships, residential ones anyway. Page 5 is the commercial permits issued by township. And page 6 is some details of the commercial projects and their value. And I stuck some commas in there for you.
That's a lot easier to
I
look
have a
at.
clarification question. I don't know if we've ever stated it. When you say the average new construction is 444,000 for a price of a home, that doesn't include the lot, does it?
No.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard for us to know. It's an estimated value. We think we get all kinds of things, guesstimates. It's hard to know. And I suspect sometimes it is in there and sometimes it's not.
So it basically is up to the applicant
Yeah,
in the permit to put in there what they think
that's true.
the value is.
That is true.
So it's basically their stated value.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we don't,
Yeah, Yeah, 'cause I was just wondering if a house is on a half acre or if it's on 10 acre, if the amount of land is
Yeah, right.
included in that number.
Yeah, and if they're selling it, if it was a spec home and they're selling it, with the land.
Right.
It's kind of hard to know. I suspect it sometimes is in there and sometimes is not. So, yeah, our review times are still good. We're doing okay. Our fun story, of course, you're well aware that we got the email from one of our folks we did business with, that they were very happy with our inspector. And so that was real fun getting that complimentary email from them. Chris Cameron does a real good job, and I think he'll continue to do so. But yeah, that was quite a nice
It is.
nice surprise. Yeah, it's
Very good.
much better than a complaint.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, indeed.
All right,
Indeed. All right,
that's it.
Thank
Very
Thank you.
good.
Have
Thanks,
a good
Richard.
day.
thank you. Ben Now, our EMA Director. Good morning.
Thank you. Wow, is this what it looks like right now?
Yeah,
Wow.
as of yesterday.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Wow.
So an update on some of our projects. The building construction, as you can see, is in its very final
Yeah.
stages. Fairly substantial completion will be done by the end of this week. The doors are being installed here in the next few days. But parking lot was paved on Saturday. Utilities are essentially done at this point. So we're really looking at this week to be kind of the final staging, other than seeding and that type of stuff. So the reimbursement to the state will be submitted here in the next few days on that. We're working on a radio tower project with the Sheriff's Department. EMA received a $200,000 Homeland Security grant. The sheriff also received $300,000 in a capital grant, so we're putting those funds together to build a tower in Seville. So right now that's going through the environmental and historical review phase. It's a 30-day public comment period. So that project will be moving forward over the next few months. We also received a larger grant this year for hazmat training through the Hazardous Materials Emergency Performance Grant. So that consisted of ammonia training, a pipeline training, an air monitoring training, confined space, technician class, which added more technicians to the hazmat team, and a lithium-ion battery class. So a few of those have been completed, a few of them are still scheduled. That's ongoing through the summer. Just starting the process of updating the mitigation plan. We received a BRIC grant that pays for the payroll for us to do the work of updating the county's mitigation plan. So that first meeting of the core group is scheduled for July 2nd at 2 p.m. So it's a public meeting. It's been advertised. That's at the University of Akron's training room upstairs. The emergency operations plan updates in its very final stages. That's been approved by the state. We have one of the interns right now working on just updating some of the community profile information, stats and stuff that have changed this year, and then some final formatting, and that updated plan will be done. The mitigation projects, I think I spoke about these the last meeting. Really no update yet, but the Seven Springs Dam grant applications were submitted. That was both on the capital grant side and the ODNR side. As far as I know, they haven't heard anything back on either one of those yet. And we're also looking at a flood buyout project in Gloria Glens. It's still in its early stages to see if that's going to be eligible or not. Medina County School Crisis Response Team exercise. That's a group that we participate with. They reached out to us about doing an exercise this fall. It's a crisis response team made up of school employees in the county, so they wanted to do an exercise, kind of testing their team. So there will be more of like the longer term than just the initial response. So, their process of responding and stabilizing the incident, and that short-term recovery for the school districts, and how they would handle an incident. The school bus safety training was completed a couple weeks ago. There was 134 school bus drivers that registered. I'm not sure who actually showed up, but that was interesting. It was in conjunction with Medina ESC and Ohio, the school bus trainers for the state of Ohio. So we had an actual overturned bus. A bus that was filled with smoke. It's kind of some advanced training the drivers had never done before. And then after the training for the school bus drivers, a bunch of fire departments showed up and actually got to cut apart the bus for an extrication training. So again, not something you normally get to, have a training on, an overturned bus, but they were able to get one donated. And the LEPC compliance action, so that's the Local Emergency Planning Committee. That's the other side of EMA is administering the LEPC program. So we took a compliance action, or they took a compliance action against a company that spilled some diesel fuel, assessed a $19,000 fine for that unreported spill. So that was something new for the LEPC that we've never done before. So that's gone through the whole process. That $19,000 has been paid. So that process is complete.
They must have paid it pretty quickly then, because that meeting was just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
That's
they
good.
paid it before the deadline.
Good.
Oh, good.
So we're going to use that for hazmat training now for the next few years. It's going to a separate fund to fund that. You see on the next page the list of incidents since the last meeting. Just it was kind of a dry spell in April. There was no incidents in April, but the last few days have been busy with a structural collapse in Seville on Friday, 2 fire investigations on Saturday, and then a hazmat call yesterday. The list of the current grants that we have ongoing, those are unchanged. But any questions on any of those?
That's a very nice report.
Very good.
Thanks.
All right, excellent. Thanks, Ben.
The building looks great, too.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does, yeah. All right, now open up for public comment. Stan, anything? All right, very good. All right, we'll go ahead and go into a discussion session. First item, wanted to, Jeremy, want to come up? We did a survey, I think I sent it to you, and actually, Sarah, do you have a copy of some of the results of a, as well as Stan or anybody else that's, what's the additional? You have it in your packet, right?
Yeah, she was.
Aaron? Okay,
yeah.
good. Anyway. So, Jeremy, want to go ahead and describe, I think it was Megan and yourself, looked at 34 different systems, got a bunch of information. The question is, we have some residents here more than once have come and talked continually about the issue of a minimum charge, a minimum monthly charge for water service, and looking at other systems as to how they deal with that, what the requirements are. So go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, I know as Commissioner Hamley mentioned that we've had a few customers come in questioning the minimum water bill. Their feeling was, I haven't used any water. Why do I get a minimum bill? There's a lot of infrastructure in place. There's a lot of continual maintenance and operations that require that minimum bill. So as an exercise, I went out and searched for we got about 30 other communities in the area here that to look at their rates and their billing structure. And I stopped at 30 just because
Actually, we have 34.
Is it 34?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Including us.
Including us. I just stopped at that point because I felt like we had enough communities, but every one of the communities that I looked at implemented some sort of monthly bill. One of our admin clerks, Megan, at our office, did the painstaking exercise of contacting every one of those communities to find the number of customers each community had and an approximate number of miles that each system had to kind of correlate the minimum water bill to customer size and also size of the infrastructure. And essentially what we had found is that we're kind of in the middle of the road here with all of the other, based on all the other communities that we reached out to. One thing I would like to point out is that, we're replacing a lot of infrastructure here. We're currently building 2 water towers. We're looking to upgrade our existing water plant over in Westfield. We're replacing old concrete water mains. So I would believe that, the fact that we are where we are with the amount of infrastructure that we are replacing and adding is something to be very proud of. So,
Miles, did you want to put up some of those slides? Because I had them. Yeah, we had 34 systems. We're at $18, so we're about right in the middle of that. When you look at the spread between them, we have 510 miles of water line. Next slide, if you wouldn't mind, kind of shows the water charge where that red dot number of customers. So we actually have a fairly low number of customers compared to some of these huge systems, but we're kind of still right in the middle of in the monthly cost. Next slide. And this is the water line miles. Also, we're the red dot there, and we're still kind of in the middle. And then the last one, or at least one of them. When we looked at the, I call it the density, the customers per mile. Actually, the one thing I observed is we actually have we're a low density. We're very spread out.
Correct.
And there's many of these communities they have more customers. If we had more customers, we actually could do a bit better, but we don't.
But
It's-
what
yeah,
I found
we're still in the
astounding
middle.
is that
Yeah.
there's some people on this sheet are paying more than double.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
It's
Well, the other thing
incredible.
that's noteworthy, I appreciate you
Yeah.
having a bigger sample size, but
Yeah.
to do that, there are, I think, 4 or 5 were actually county systems on the list.
Mhm.
And we compared favorably to the county systems too in the
Sure.
breakdown. So I thought that was noteworthy too, because to your point, that probably does contribute to density, being over a countywide versus in a city. So-
Yeah, and I think too, and some also, but maybe shouldn't, there are some municipalities that have their own electric systems, their own power, municipal power. And they get a bargain when it comes to electricity is required to pump. Part of a water system is pumping water, and there's a cost to it, there's an operations cost. And if you can get energy in bulk, if you will, at a reduced price, operationally, you're at a better advantage.
Right.
And that could describe some of those villages as municipalities that have their own power.
One of the things that I wondered too, our billing goes out, does it go out bi-monthly or does it go
Bi-monthly.
quarterly? Yeah.
Bi-monthly,
A-
yeah.
And I wondered, in the context of the question people were asking, were they comparing apples to apples? When I see my bill, if I'm not paying attention to it, I might think I get that bill every month.
Mm-hmm.
And so do they think they're being charged 36, or is it clear that that's $18 per month and the bill is for $36 because it's for 2 months? Because if I were comparing that with another community that maybe bills me monthly and bills me $20, I might be paying more in that community and not even realize it because the bill comes in for $20.
And to your point, maybe even going quarterly would be a cost savings?
I believe Cleveland Water did quarterly. I don't know if they changed that or
No,
not.
they changed it, yeah.
Did they? Because I know they
don't do
were
quarterly,
quarterly.
Yeah,
But I mean, quarterly, people would see that it's a quarter versus,
Right.
yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just, it's one of the other things I thought of when I was looking at the numbers, because I honestly didn't know what to expect, so I appreciate the work that went into putting the numbers together. Aside from the fact that, I think we compare favorably, I wondered if maybe the $18 a month is somewhat lost in a bi-monthly billing structure, so.
Yeah. I'll point out too, and I know it was part of the sheet that you shared, but we did also, in that interview that survey, looked at whether they had a reduced rate for seniors or homestead exemption. There were only 3 systems. Cleveland had a 40% discount, or excuse me, Akron had a 40% discount. Cleveland does a homestead, and then Streetsboro, I guess, does a senior discount of 10%. Everybody else in that remaining sample all charge the same price, so there is no senior discount. And I know we've had people ask us before, hey, could we at least get a homestead exemption? And we have to run like a business, even though it's not for profit. So any discount we give, we have to make up someplace else to capture the cost. So I think we're kind of in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
We, like everybody else, we're not able to offer that. Yeah.
And kind of to speak on the the density, just I mean looking
Yeah.
at the city of Medina, since there are neighbors next door
Oh,
here,
yeah.
they have we have about 19,000 customers, I think 19,500. And the city of Medina has 8,500 customers. But when you look at the infrastructure, we have 510 miles compared to 125
Right.
miles.
Right.
I mean, that just the density. I mean, we have 21 water towers. The city, I think, has 2, maybe
Right.
3 towers. So just the amount of infrastructure we need to move water around the entire county is it costs a little bit more than when you're able to be a little bit more condensed like a city is.
But we also know too, they're kind of grown out. They're not going to expand more. We know we have other areas of our system
Oh, sure.
we're going to get additional customers because we have that larger distribution line. So we will be still growing. We're getting, as all these new buildings that are coming in, part of our water system, there'll be new customers that'll
Correct.
pay into it. So at least we have a little bit more growth in terms of customer base possible, I think. I know, and some of this doesn't take a look at commercial as to help to balance out the
Correct.
because we know that the high end users are going to be paying more to help recoup the cost of the system. So, but anyway, so this
Yeah, and that's the other one too. The non-city systems that have as much or more miles than we do are are uniformly, I believe, above us
Mhm.
in terms of their minimum charge. You know, the Lorraine rural and the, you know, some of these other systems, granted with more miles, but if they're at or above us in terms of mileage, we compare very favorably on those.
Agreed.
So.
I think so too. So, great job on this. We probably ought to communicate with some of the individuals that came here. We'll put together, there was that one gentleman, or maybe we got two, I think. I'm trying to remember. I think it was
Oh,
at least
yeah.
two that
The-
came.
yeah,
The
the
oth-
one-
you know,
the one
Need to
that
get
you-
back to them.
The other question that they
yeah.
raised, and I assume you mentioned Homestead, you
Right.
kind of covered it in the context of Homestead.
Yeah.
I assume none of these systems have it, you know, vacation or they don't waive it when people are snowbirding or things like that.
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Not that I could find on the site.
Yeah.
And same
Yeah.
with the homestead. I didn't see anything.
I would think if they were going to do that, they would do the Homestead senior citizen type discounts before anything else
Before a
specialized.
minute, yeah.
Correct.
Excuse me, the administrative cost
Yeah.
associated with when people leave town.
Mhm.
And that, you know, then it becomes like the mail. You turn it off and on. Nobody
Yeah.
wants that. So.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right, well, very good.
Perfect. All right, well,
Thanks.
thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
all
you.
your working on that. All right. That's all I had for. Chris, do you have anything for discussion? I do. Matt, anything? Jeremy, anything else? No. All right. Colleen?
Nothing. Well, we're tabling the one.
Yeah, I
discussion.
just,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
had a request for Clean Ohio funding grant application for the Park District. I'm just asking for more
One
information.
more week.
That's fine.
Yeah,
We'll table
for
that.
taking on, and I'm not sure that that'll still make the due deadline. If
Oh,
it's- Yeah, so.
I want to acknowledge that was the most inexpensive discussion session we've ever had with our sanitary engineer. So
Yeah.
thanks for that.
Yeah, that's good.
That's true.
It didn't cost us anything. I just want to also mention I'm working on some written testimony. There's actually a hearing this afternoon related to the Brunswick interchange. So this is on the repeal bill in the House. And I don't know what the prospects actually, Steve and I were talking about that this morning, what the prospects are of it moving forward before the summer recess. But in an effort to just kind of reiterate and emphasize the fact that NOACA has every plan, and I think it's on its September agenda, or will be, to authorize the traffic study that Strongsville's been asking for, and that there's no reason that the repeal needs to be conditioned upon that. You know, in some ways, I would rather that the traffic study approval by NOACA be conditioned upon the repeal, because essentially the point is we have a situation where this bill kind of did an end run around the normal process to get put into place. The repeal effort's been pending, and as a result of the repeal effort and kind of everything else, I think resolution has been ODOT and NOACA have come to the table and said, well, let's authorize a traffic study and see what really needs to be done there, which even I think Brunswick is on board with. So that seems like a great next step. The concern I have is if Columbus says, well, we need to wait to do the repeal until the traffic study happens or is authorized, it creates a roadmap for future areas, cities, municipalities, whoever, to try this process again. So I think the most clean way to kind of deliver a message that, you know, the process by which that Boston Road interchange was created is for the General Assembly to repeal that, to let NOACA and ODOT take the steps that they're going to take, I think, anyway. And so I'm going to be offering some written testimony that I'll be submitting here shortly that kind of supports that in relation to this today's Economic and Workforce Committee hearing. So just wanted you to be aware of that. That's an ongoing process, and I'm hopeful that the House will take some action on it.
This is basically all parties testifying. You can be
Yes.
an interested party for or opposed, and which is a sign that it's moving closer to a vote.
Right.
So
right.
that's which is good news.
It
I'd like
is.
to see it get out of the House and of course work its way through the Senate.
Well, I think there's kind of there's a comfort that a lot of us who are in in these roles in leadership roles kind of have, that it's heading in the right direction.
Right.
But
right.
the problem, I think, is that same comfort doesn't extend to the people whose houses are in the area where there's a law on the books that says there's to be an interchange built. And so
Do you know whether it's scheduled for a vote?
out of the committee?
Out of the committee?
I don't know that. Yeah, I
Okay,
looked at.
all right.
I tried to look. There was kind of limited information. They had an analysis on their on the committee website. but
Well,
they-
the only way to talk to one of the committee members or the chair
Yeah.
chair's office typically will let you know that there's a vote pending.
Yeah, I'll reach out.
Sponsor sometimes, and Sharon Ray's the sponsor, maybe she'd have knowledge whether it's
Sure.
a pending vote, because they usually notify the sponsor of the bill that a vote is pending.
Okay, yeah.
And that would be a sign that, because it can get out of committee, it could then get added probably to another bill.
Yep.
That's usually what leadership sometimes does towards the end, when they get kind of jammed
Yeah.
with a lot of because they're trying to accomplish a lot next week. If it gets out of committee, they could easily add it to another bill.
Okay.
Maybe I shouldn't say easily, but
It seems
typically,
easy to us,
it
right?
seems, they have been known to do that.
Yeah, yeah, and I just think
Yeah.
it's just for the benefit of the clarity that the people who live there need.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
We need to move that forward, and,
Oh.
and so we're obviously continuing to be allies with the city of Brunswick and all the residents who are fighting that battle.
Well, indeed, I'm
so.
glad you're doing the testimony on it, to continue supporting that. Hopefully get clarity, and then NOACA can go ahead this fall and move forward with the traffic study.
Yep.
All right, very good. Anything else?
So-
Okay, I've got nothing.
I did want to mention
Yeah.
that after our meeting last week, did submit the RFQ that we all agreed to Chuck Stiver, but I have not heard back yet.
Okay,
Well,
So
we're
if it-
expecting it'll be after the fair before they take any action on that.
I have not heard back from. I would
Okay.
anticipate that this is a really busy month
Yeah,
for them.
yeah.
So yeah.
I did notice that they, I think I shared with you their announcement. They did receive some funding. About every fair received funding from the
That's
governor's
great.
office for, and I'm not sure what purposes. It's probably just
Right.
to support the fair operations and so forth. So
We heard during COVID that Mike DeWine's a big fan of the Ohio fairs. So,
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
As he was canceling.
as was the Ohio House and the Senate too. Okay, we do have a request for executive session, I believe.
Then I will move that we enter executive session to discuss an imminent litigation.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes. Okay, we will
So
be.
this was the letter. Did you read this one?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, yes.
okay. But that was what his explanation. Yeah.
Everybody have a good day.
Okay.